My stomach ached, and my loving husband, a big shot in the entertainment industry, was on a business trip and couldn't come back. But I knew he was by the side of the up-and-coming actress, flipping through a pregnancy report over and over again. At the wrap party, his brother curiously asked, "Geneva called you several times. Why didn't you answer?" TSK. If you don't love her anymore, why don't you just say it earlier? Isn't that other woman pregnant? You can just marry her. He glared at him sharply. Geneva is my wife for life. I will never leave her. And if any of you leak anything, don't blame me for not being a good brother. He spoke with conviction and deep affection, but when the up-and-coming actress clutched her stomach in pain, he was so nervous he wanted to kill someone. Listening to his gentle and familiar soothing voice, I ran away in embarrassment. Only now did I realize that the man who was going to spend the rest of his life with me had betrayed me long ago. I decided to leave completely, never to see him again. 1. I stumbled home from the wrap party, feeling completely disoriented. The villa was completely renovated, with balloons in my favorite color hanging all around the fence. A young maid exclaimed in awe in a low voice, "Wow, so this is the madam. No wonder the sir loves her so much. She's so beautiful." For the past month that madam was in the hospital, sir had us start preparing for a birthday party early. He even leveled the back mountain just to build a zoo for madam. If it weren't for the country's ban on buying pandas, sir would probably have spent a fortune to buy one. I'd say, there's probably no one in the world who loves the madam more than sir. Before today, hearing this, I would have been incredibly grateful for my good fortune in having such a good husband. After all, I had no parents, no family background, and only knew the entertainment mogul Ignatius because of an event. Since then he had spoiled me rotten, but how could they know? The man who doted on me had secretly raised another flower outside. Even when I had stomach surgery and called him countless times, he didn't even come to see me once. I looked at the newly taken wedding photo on the wall and felt the handsome face of Ignatius in the photo twisting constantly. For a moment the world spun around me, and I fell straight down the stairs. Geneva! I was in pain all over, and as my consciousness blurred, I heard a familiar voice, followed by a pair of trembling hands carefully holding me in his arms. "Geneva, what happened to you? Are you hurt anywhere? I'll take you to the hospital." Focusing my vision, I saw Ignatius's anxious face. His eyes were bloodshot, and he looked furious as he roared at the servants. "What are your eyes for? Madam is not feeling well. Don't you know how to take care of her? If you can do it, do it. If you can't, get out." I pulled at his sleeve and said in pain, "It's just that my stomach ulcer hasn't healed. It's not their fault." Seeing him sweating anxiously, I tried him out softly. "If you had been by my side during the surgery, maybe I would have recovered faster." Ignatius immediately looked apologetic. He carried me to the sofa and gently pressed his lips against my forehead. "It's all my fault. If I had known, I wouldn't have gone on that trip. A contract is nothing compared to you." As he said this, I looked into his eyes inch by inch, but I was destined to be disappointed. In Ignatius's eyes, there was guilt and sadness, but there was no sign of the guilt of lying. I suddenly sobbed and couldn't help but cry. Ignatius patted my back carefully and said anxiously, "What's wrong? Where does it hurt? Tell me, are you trying to scare me?" I grabbed his collar with my trembling hand and smiled faintly. "It's nothing, I'm just so happy to see you." "Ignatius, you don't even blink when you lie." In the middle of the night, I was burning up and vomited all over the bed. Ignatius's eyes turned red, and he wiped the dirt off my face before rushing out to call the family doctor. I watched him as he stepped on the cold floor. I watched his forehead, where the veins were exposed with anxiety. At this moment, his worry was so real, no different from before. But such a man who loves and spoils me has gotten another woman pregnant. Madam seems to have been frightened and caught a cold today. She'll be fine after taking some medicine and resting for a couple of days. I was in a daze and heard Ignatius questioning the servants outside. "Where did Madam go today? How could she have been frightened and caught a cold? What are you doing watching her?" The servants explained in terror. Madam answered a call, said she was going to the wrap party, and came back like this. Ignatius rushed in and hugged me tightly. his cold lips brushing against my ear, and he said tentatively, "Geneva, you went to the wrap party, why didn't I see you?" I wrapped myself in my coat and swallowed my tears, my voice unusually calm. "I didn't go. I saw a car accident on the way and just watched." Ignatius stopped patting my back and continued, reproaching me affectionately. "You're so careless. You just got better and you ran out alone. Don't do this next time. Wherever you want to go, I'll accompany you. You don't have time. I've only seen you 3 times this month." I wanted to laugh but couldn't manage a smile, so I closed my eyes and buried myself in the coat. Ignatius hugged me tightly, his strong arms wrapped around me tightly. "Wife, it's all my fault. I'm too busy with work and I've neglected you. Forgive me this once." Countless questions were stuck in my throat. I closed my eyes tightly and buried myself in the coat, vaguely squeezing out a word. "Okay." 2. I was sick for 7 days, and Ignatius took care of me day and night without leaving my side. When his assistant called, Ignatius just glanced at it and hung up. I told him to go to work, and he hugged me, pretending to be angry. Am I such a heartless person? How can I go to work when my own wife is sick? Before I could speak, the maid's voice rang out in panic. "Sir, your assistant is here, saying there are documents for you to sign." Geneva glared angrily. "Can't you see I'm with my wife? How do you do things? How many times have I told you not to mention unimportant people in front of me?" As soon as he finished speaking, a clear and sweet female voice came from outside the door. "Chairman, this contract can't be delayed. Please sign it when you have time." Ignatius's face changed slightly, and a flash of panic crossed his face, but he quickly returned to normal. He looked at me and said casually, "Wife, I'll go see what's going on. Stay here and don't go out in the cold." Having said that, he turned to leave. I reached out and grabbed him, asking curiously, "What kind of contract?" "Call the assistant in. It's not appropriate to leave a girl outside in the cold." Ignatius twitched at the corner of his eye, patted my hand gently, and said softly, "Why call her in? What if she brings in some virus and makes you even sicker?" This time, Ignatius didn't stay and quickened his pace to go out. I watched his back disappear behind the door, my eyes filled with sadness. He probably forgot. In the past, in order to prevent me from being jealous, he transferred all the female assistants around him to other positions. Now all the secretaries and assistants around him are male. I endured the heart-wrenching pain and followed Ignatius behind the maids. I watched him grab the woman's hand and forcefully drag her to the backyard. The woman's belly was slightly protruding, and she was pushed against the wall, letting out a coquettish cry of pain. Ignatius lowered his voice and questioned, "How dare you appear in front of her? Are you trying to die?" The woman looked up with a teary-eyed face, and I instantly recognized her. She was Harmony, the up-and-coming flower who had been in the limelight recently. Harmony coquettishly begged Ignatius in a soft voice, "I haven't seen you for so many days. You don't answer my calls. You don't reply to my messages. I'm pregnant. The baby misses his father. What can I do? Besides, for so many days, haven't you missed me a little bit? I heard that this part of a pregnant woman will get bigger, and the feel will be better too." The woman pulled open her zipper, revealing her alluring cleavage, pressed it tightly against Ignatius's chest, and whispered softly, "Don't you miss me a little bit? You little vixen." The man's eyes were bloodshot, and he grabbed her neck fiercely, lowering his head to kiss her. They couldn't help themselves in broad daylight. Seeing this scene, my stomach churned and I almost vomited. So dirty. How could it be so dirty? I covered my mouth tightly and left in embarrassment. Later, Ignatius never came back. He sent a message saying he would be dealing with matters at the company. I didn't reply, and I felt sick just looking at it. In the middle of the night, I received 2 unfamiliar messages on my phone. I clicked on it and saw Ignatius's sleeping side profile and an address. CS Coffee Shop. I instantly realized who sent it. 3. I arrived at the meeting as scheduled the next day. Harmony was already sitting there, fully armed, and her first words were, "Everyone says that the chairman of Ignatius's group loves his wife like his life. But unfortunately, you don't know that you've been married to Ignatius for 3 years, and he's been keeping me as his mistress for 2 years." My heart skipped a beat, and I clenched my fist. So what? You haven't been able to replace me in 2 years. Do you want me to clap for you and encourage you? Harmony took off her mask directly, and her delicate face looked a bit ferocious. I didn't come to see you to just chat. I want to make a bet with you. Let's bet on who can get the role in the movie Divine Realm. If I lose, I'll abort the child and willingly withdraw. And if you lose, you'll step down and let me take your place. How about it, dare you? Before I married Ignatius, I was just a newcomer who had just entered the industry. I went from playing a maid to a supporting actress in a web series, from an unknown newcomer to an 18th-tier artist. Finally, at a party, I met Ignatius, a big shot, and since then, I've reached the peak of my life. Everyone said I was born lucky and would have no worries for the rest of my life. After being married to Ignatius for 3 years, I hardly touched a script anymore, because Ignatius didn't like it, because Ignatius's family rules were strict. So I sensibly hid my hobbies. This time I agreed to the bet, and I asked Ignatius to let me act. But when I heard about Divine Realm, Ignatius's face showed a hint of subtlety. Wife, can we change the script? I've read this script, and the actors need to train 3 months in advance. And the director is also notoriously difficult to get along with. Even if I bring up my name, he may not give me face. Since you want to act, I'll find a suitable script for you another day, one that's tailor-made for you, okay? I was silent for a long time and forced a smile. I'm not afraid of hardship. I really like this script, and I've talked to the director. He said my image is quite suitable. Ignatius, can I really not act? Ignatius sighed helplessly. Wife, can we be obedient? I don't want you to be in danger. What a righteous remark. If it weren't for the evidence in my phone that Harmony sent to show off that she had won the bet, I would have really believed him. Geneva, you lose the bet. This time I've won. Ignatius has already agreed to give me the female lead. I heard that the director had been fighting for you. It's a pity, but in the end, it's still not as good as one word from Ignatius. Seeing that I wasn't speaking, Ignatius asked again. I was full of sadness and smiled bitterly, nodding. I'll do as you say. I don't want Divine Realm anymore, and I don't want you either. 4. Ignatius found me other scripts. I flipped through them casually, and then put them on a shelf. Ignatius was stunned when he saw that I wasn't interested. Wife, don't you like any of them? I opened the social media platform, and happened to see Harmony's official announcement for the movie Divine Realm. I pointed at the screen and said to Ignatius, I like this one. Ignatius frowned, and then looked embarrassed. Wife, it has already been officially announced that the female lead is her. No matter what, we can't snatch it away from others, right? Hearing this, my eyes instantly turned red. What do you mean by snatching? It should have been mine. Ignatius took my hand and put the phone away, his tone as affectionate as ever. Wife, since you like this type, I'll have the screenwriter write one for you, and the production will be no worse than this one, okay? I pulled my hand away from him, looked straight at Ignatius and said calmly, no need, once it's missed, it's missed. A flash of panic crossed Ignatius's eyes. He wanted to say something else, but he was interrupted by a phone call. I watched him smile apologetically and answer the phone, then went back to the room. I decided to leave Ignatius. Before I left, I had to make some preparations. After the phone call, Ignatius came upstairs and hugged me from behind, sniffing my hair affectionately. Wife, there's something I need to tell you. There's a little problem with the cooperation abroad. And I have to go abroad. You have to take good care of yourself at home, you know? I watched him pack his luggage silently. Before leaving, Ignatius finally spared a little attention for me, hugged me tightly, and rubbed his lips vaguely against my cheek. I moved my fingers slightly and heard him say, I'll be back in a few days, and I'll celebrate your birthday with you then. The man took his suitcase and left without looking back. He probably didn't even realize how eager he was. I didn't make a fuss, I didn't hold him back. On my phone, there was a screenshot of a WeChat message from Harmony. I said I wanted to celebrate my birthday early, and I want to go abroad. One call can take him away from you. Geneva, everyone says he loves you, but in fact, you're nothing special. 3 days later, Harmony, the female lead in director Grant's new movie Divine Realm, was suspected of being pregnant and traveling abroad with her boyfriend to shop for luxury brands. Two topics immediately topped the hot search. Netizens were discussing it, desperately trying to find out the man's identity. He's tall, long-legged, and has good posture. He must be a handsome guy. So the filming of Divine Realm was delayed until next year, just to wait for Harmony to give birth? I always thought Harmony was very ambitious. Who knew she would expose her relationship now? This man is wrapped up tighter than Harmony, a female star. There's something fishy about him. Isn't his identity something he can't reveal? When everyone was puzzled and guessing, I logged into my long-unused social media account and claimed the man in the photo, Geneva. Unexpectedly, I saw the news of myself being cheated on the hot search. When will you come back from your trip abroad? Let's get a divorce. At Ignatius. 5. The hot search exploded directly. What did you say? What do you mean it's trending? Who dares to put me on a trending search without my permission? Ignatius's face changed drastically upon receiving the call. His heart pounded and throbbed, filled with the fear of Geneva discovering the truth. He gritted his teeth and clicked on the domestic app. The first thing he saw was a banner of his wedding photo with Geneva, and below it was a screenshot of Geneva's new social media post. She wanted a divorce. Ignatius immediately lost his balance and stumbled back a step. It was all over. No one knew Geneva's character better than he did. She could never tolerate sand in her eyes. Remorse surged up in him. Ignatius began to hate himself. Why did he have to take that step? Hearing the phone ring, Harmony picked up her phone and took a look, instantly overjoyed. But before she could be happy for a moment, the man who had been so enthusiastically dressed up and looked like he was about to leave, she quickly stopped him. Ignatius, are you leaving? Today is my birthday. Didn't you promise to stay with me? What will I do if you leave? Can you just leave us mother and child in this foreign country? Besides, since she willingly withdraws, wouldn't it be nice if we could be a family of 3 in the future? Harmony acted pitifully as usual, but she underestimated Ignatius's heart and overestimated her own existence. Ignatius glanced at the woman in disgust and pushed her away directly. You're wasting my time, I'll kill you. Who do you think you are? You're not even as good as a hair on Geneva's head. If you compare yourself to her again, I'll make you look good. Harmony's eyes widened in disbelief. She broke down and cried out loudly. If you don't love me, why did you allow me to get pregnant with your child? Why did you sleep with me? Why? Don't you know? Ignatius left Harmony and bought the latest flight back home. By this time, the incident had already blown up online. Ignatius's group's public relations department was too late to do much. Although the hot search was later removed, there were still many people discussing it. But Ignatius didn't care about dealing with it at the moment. He got off the plane and rushed home. The servants stopped decorating the birthday party and stood trembling aside, silent as cicadas. Ignatius looked at the quiet villa and said in a hoarse voice, "Where's Madam?" A servant came forward with a divorce agreement, her voice trembling. Madam went on a trip, and Madam also said that if Mr. considers it carefully, just sign the divorce agreement. It will be easier then. She can go directly to the Civil Affairs Bureau when she comes back. 6. Ignatius sat on the couch. Veins bulged at his temples, making him look like a beast on the verge of a breakdown. He maintained the last of his composure. Tell me, what did Madam say before she left? Was there anything different from usual? Did Madam reveal where she was going? The maid was terrified, holding the divorce agreement and trembling. Madam didn't say where she was going. There was nothing different from usual. It's just that on the day she left, Madam seemed to answer a phone call and was particularly happy. Ignatius watched the surveillance footage over and over again, but the footage wasn't live action, and it couldn't alleviate Ignatius's anxiety and panic. He couldn't take it anymore, and he threw the cup to the ground. The sound of the shattered porcelain instantly sobered him up. I arrived at the filming location, and a misty rain was falling. The crew was thoughtful and sent a car to pick me up. When I got in the car, I found out that the driver was the director himself. Hello, I'm Geneva. I know, Director Grant said. I'm Holden. The script is over there. Take a look at it yourself. If you think you can adapt to it, We'll start shooting at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning." Hearing these efficient words, I realized that what Director Grant said was still beautified. But who cares at this point? Moreover, a strict director can produce better works. So I nodded with a smile. Okay. After failing to join the crew of Divine Realm, Director Grant felt very sorry that he couldn't cooperate successfully. Finally, after learning about my situation, he recommended me to Holden, a new director who had won the Best Director award for his new film. The actor who was supposed to play this role had run away halfway through. Holden tried several young actors, but none of them were suitable, and finally it fell on me. The character was a murderous villain. It was a role I had never tried before. To this end, I stayed up for several nights and finally found the feeling. Towards the end of filming, I had lost 10 pounds, a world of difference from when I first came. Holden brought over a bowl of beef noodles and placed it in front of me. I was a little surprised. This role required me to lose weight, and I had been eating vegetarian food for half a month before I became like this. "Can I eat it?" I asked tentatively. Holden's face suddenly turned dark, and he was about to take the beef noodles away. "If you don't eat it, I'll take it away." Hey. I was just joking, Director Holden, don't be stingy. I hugged the beef noodles and started eating, and suddenly heard Holden ask, "You're finished filming tomorrow. What are you going to do next?" I smiled. "Nothing much. Next is to go back and deal with the big event in life, divorce." During the time I was hiding in the deep mountains and old forests to film, there were often strange numbers calling me, and I knew without looking that it must be Ignatius. I accidentally answered once, and Ignatius begged me to go back, saying he was wrong. But was he really wrong? But Harmony, whose mistress had been exposed, was still alive and kicking online. Without Ignatius's protection, she couldn't be so relaxed. I figured it out. I can't deal with the powerful Ignatius alone, and I can't vent my anger on Harmony, who is hiding behind him. I just want a quiet divorce and return to a normal life. In the last scene, it was a bit dangerous. As soon as I put on the wire equipment, someone grabbed my hand tightly and wouldn't let go. "Geneva, wife, I finally found you." 7. Ignatius's appearance startled me, but I quickly calmed down. Looking at the crowd of onlookers, I said to Ignatius, "Wait for me, let's talk somewhere." Holden came over. He was younger than me, but had a naturally fierce look that could intimidate anyone. "Can I help with anything?" I shook my head and asked for half a day off. I took Ignatius to the makeup room. As soon as we got there, Ignatius hugged me tightly, like a drug addict, burying his head in my neck. I was startled and struggled to break free. "What are you doing?" "Ignatius, let go of me." Ignatius's eyes were bloodshot, and his arms were as strong as steel. I struggled for a long time, and finally gave up completely. Ignatius murmured in my ear in a sticky voice, "Wife, you've suffered a lot during this time. Will you come back with me? I don't like filming. I'll give you the script. I'll give you a team. You can shoot whatever you want. I'll do whatever you want." "Wife, don't you want Divine Realm? I'll give it to you. It's all yours, as long as you don't leave me, wife. I'll die if you leave me." I was angry and sad. My heart was torn apart. But during this time, this emotion that destroyed me was gradually worn away. I realized that I seemed to have lost my previous feelings for Ignatius. I said calmly, "So what's the point of you saying this now? Didn't you personally promise Divine Realm to Harmony? You wasted so much effort back then. And you even used your power to suppress Director Grant. Wasn't it just to give Divine Realm to Harmony? You can take it back just by saying so. What do you think of me, Geneva? A trash can?" Ignatius's head buzzed as if he had been hit hard. "Honey, let me explain." Ignatius was stunned for a moment, and I took the opportunity to step out of his arms and away from him. "What is there to explain? Explain that you've been married to me for 3 years, but you've been keeping her as a mistress for 2 years? Or explain that you got her pregnant? Explain that she can fly abroad with you at a word. Your affair was exposed, but she's still flaunting herself online. Ignatius, your kindness is so cheap. You disgust me. I'm definitely getting a divorce. If you don't want to, then I'll sue you. I, Geneva, have no money and a miserable life. I might as well drag you down with me." I was determined. Ignatius came up with a way to avoid it. Geneva, you're not calm yet. Let's talk about it when you calm down. 8. Ignatius left the film set. I contacted a divorce lawyer directly and handed over the entire divorce matter to him. After filming wrapped, Holden brought me a new script and asked if I wanted to act in it. I didn't even think about it before taking it. I trust director Holden's judgment. Now, only my savings were barely supporting me, and if I kept this up, I wouldn't even be able to afford the lawyer's fees, so naturally, I had to take on more work. Harmony was jumping around online, facing a lot of criticism. Until now, Ignatius hadn't done anything to her. This probably meant that Ignatius tacitly approved of her actions. And today, she received a message from Ignatius. Harmony felt she had finally reached the end of her suffering. She dressed up and went to Ignatius's house. Seeing Ignatius sitting on the sofa, Harmony immediately smiled and walked towards him. Ignatius, I've been waiting for you for half a month. You finally came to pick me up. I miss you so much. And the baby misses you too, The smile on Harmony's face turned to terror. She lowered her eyes and looked at the big hand with bulging veins on her neck. She was almost suffocating. Let go. Ignatius seemed not to hear. His eyes were frighteningly red. It was you who sent the message to Geneva. It was you who contacted her. It was you who made him discover this, wasn't it? You should die. You should die. You should die. Harmony was almost scared out of her wits. She looked at Ignatius with pleading eyes. But it was useless, and in the end, she was kicked in the stomach. Ah, my stomach! She looked at Ignatius in disbelief, as if she couldn't believe he could be so cruel. This is your child. How can you be so heartless? Shut up. Without Geneva, what use is this child to me? I just wanted you to play with Geneva. Now that she refuses to come back to me, you should die. Ignatius went crazy and kicked her a few more times. Harmony, who had been a little relieved, was instantly so scared that she could only cry and beg for mercy. Harmony cried in snot. Let me go. I won't dare anymore. I really won't dare anymore. Ignatius, who responded to her, slapped her several times. Harmony crawled to the door and was dragged back to continue being beaten. For a moment, the villa was filled with nothing but screams. 9. When the lawyer said Ignatius could face jail time for assaulting a woman, I thought he was joking, until I saw the trending searches. I learned that Ignatius had actually beaten Harmony until she miscarried and was hospitalized. And Harmony was still posting information online at that time, saying that as long as Ignatius was willing to divorce her and marry her, she could give him a letter of forgiveness to exempt him from prison. But Ignatius's response was that he would rather go to jail than see Harmony ruined. Suddenly, the internet was full of Harmony's black material. The child Harmony was carrying was not Ignatius. Harmony had slept with countless men to become famous. For a time, the internet actually allowed Ignatius to occupy the moral high ground. Harmony lost her job and had to pay a penalty, and Ignatius would rather spend a year in jail than pay Harmony a penny. Like other ordinary netizens, I followed this drama. On the day Ignatius was arrested for getting married, Harmony had gone crazy and tried to run over Ignatius with her car. Oh my God, this is too dramatic. I feel like I've wasted the past 20 years eating all this gossip. I never expected any of these twists. Ignatius was seriously injured and hospitalized, staying in the ICU. I received a call from his assistant, begging me to go see him. I went anyway, to ask him when he would agree to divorce me. Ignatius smiled bitterly. I'm almost dead, Geneva. Won't you give me a little hope? Although being a widow sounds better than getting divorced, I want to divorce you, Ignatius. There's no point in dwelling on this. I don't want to have anything to do with you after you die. Ignatius shed tears, his hoarse voice filled with pleading. Geneva, I really regret it. Since the moment the incident broke out, he had been filled with regret. He regretted why he was so easily seduced by Harmony. He regretted betraying Geneva, because he loved her the most. He regretted not being able to spend this year's birthday with her. I was too lazy to listen to Ignatius's confession. If you don't want to get a divorce, then I'll leave. If you do something wrong, you do something wrong. You were carefree when you were cheating, and now that you've been found out, You turn around and pretend to be a romantic. I'm not stupid. Later, Ignatius's assistant called me a few more times. I thought I would just answer if he wanted to talk about the divorce, but later I simply stopped answering. Filming for Holden's new movie started. This time I was playing a woman who was abandoned by her once sworn husband. When I filmed the awakening scene, I smashed 5 pots and finally got the shot that director Holden wanted. Later, on the last day of filming, the news of Ignatius's discharge from the hospital also made the headlines. He had lost a leg and would be confined to a wheelchair for the rest of his life. I glanced at it and shifted my gaze without caring. Only then did I notice an unread message lying quietly in the background. I agreed to the divorce. A month later, I successfully obtained the divorce certificate. It had been a full year since I discovered I had been cheated on. My life has undergone a drastic change. I started acting, my acting skills improved, and my career also made new progress. Everything is going in a good direction. Ignatius gave me a lot of property. I didn't refuse, because it was what I deserved. When I walked out of the Civil Affairs Bureau, Ignatius called out to me, "Geneva, if you need anything, come to me." I didn't turn around, but walked down the stairs towards the warm sunshine. I waved my hand. "No need, Ignatius, from now on. I'll be in charge of my own life."